What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. And today I want to discuss the Evil Dead 1981 version and do like a little review slash discussion. I want to do a review slash discussion for each movie in this franchise leading up to Evil Dead Rises that, of the recording of this video, came out like a week or so ago. And I just want to give my thoughts on the franchise as a whole because I have never actually watched these movies, and it's kind of nuts because I'm a huge horror fan, but I have never had taken the time to really watch these movies and see what the hype was all about. Because I've always heard about it like my entire life. Evil Dead, Evil Dead, Evil Dead. The thing is, I've just never been into like supernatural, demonic possession type movies. Like I like The Exorcist because it's a classic in the horror genre. But I'd never watched Evil Dead. And Evil Dead is a classic in the horror genre as well. So I figured with the new one coming out is a better time than ever to really get into the series, and I wanted to give my thoughts on the original film, and hopefully I'll be able to watch Evil Dead 2 tonight and watch all of them and put a review out for each movie is what I would like to do. So with that being said, if you're new here, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like on the video and subbing to the channel for more content like this, and if you are returning, if you wouldn't mind leaving your thoughts down below on what you think about the original Evil Dead film. And if you've seen Evil Dead Rises, let me know what you think about it because I hear it's great. I just want to watch all these movies before I go see Evil Dead Rises. So with that being said, let's talk about Evil Dead. So I think I might screw up the intro. I think it's called The Evil Dead. I want to make sure I put that "the" in there. But The Evil Dead, let's talk about it. Listen, my general thoughts. I like this film. I dug it. It's aged. It's aged. What I like about this movie is the things that I think some people might find criticism in horror, right? Like, I love the whole group of friends, reasonably young. I would say all these people were like, what, in their mid-20s or something like that. Go to an abandoned cabin, right? And weird, fucked up shit starts happening to them. I've always liked that trope, even in like video games, like Until Dawn, right? There's a new one called The Quarry that's out. That came out this past year. I played that. I beat it. I like games like that. I don't know. It's something about it, man. Maybe I'm a fucked up individual. I like seeing people get screwed up by killers and demons. And so it's I don't know. I can't really explain it to you, but I like the trope, and it does that in this film that I've seen 1,000 times, and I dug it. I just dug it from start to finish. Now, as a disclaimer, let me just tell you guys this. I am not really into demonic possession, supernatural type movies. Never really have been. And so going into this film franchise, I wasn't like jumping out of my seat to see this, and that's why like my whole childhood and going to my early adulthood, I've grown to love horror movies, but I just never really been into supernatural stuff. I've always liked slashers. I love slasher films. So I didn't know how I was going to feel going into this, but look, I dug it. I dug The Evil Dead 1981. I really dug it. I think even though it has aged quite a bit, and it has, atmosphere. Sam Raimi does such a great job creating atmosphere. I love Sam Raimi. I love him as a person. I think as a director, he's phenomenal. I mean, he made one of the best film franchises of all time with the original Spider-Man films with Tobey Maguire. I don't care what anybody says. He's the best Spider-Man. He's goated. He shits on Tom and he shits on Andrew, and it's not even close. I think Andrew's great, but that's besides the point. Okay, the best Spider-Man franchise of all time is the Tobey series. As simple as that, and it wouldn't have been possible without Sam Raimi. So I'm actually surprised I didn't really check out this movie earlier before because I love Sam Raimi and I know he's got that horror. He's very horror centered in a lot of his films. So The Evil Dead is just a straight up horror film because I know I hear that. The second and an Army of Darkness leans back into more of that slapstick humor with like horror elements as opposed to the first one's just straight up horror. And yes, this is a horror film, man. For through and through, seeing people get possessed, it's wild, it's zany, it's goofy at times. But there are some really frightening moments. Like I wasn't like, scared. I'm not one of those people that get scared during scary movies. But I was actually like, holy shit, like this is actually for the time. Right? And even watching now, I mean, it's 2023, right? As of recording this video, unless you're watching this like a year or so from now. Like, even now, I'm like, wow, that was really, really effective. And so, what it comes down to is atmosphere, man. I love the five friends going to the cabin. It's isolated. It's in the middle of the woods. It's a stormy night. I just love it. Those are tropes that I don't want them to go away from horror films. I love that. It sets the mood. Um, I really like the scene, and I don't remember what her name is, and I apologize. I've only seen the movie once. But essentially, the blonde guy's girlfriend that he had come with to the cabin, she feels like she's being watched, like outside her house, and this is after the five friends were listening to the tape recording of the doctor and seeing the book, right? The book made of human skin, by the way, and the doctor is talking about his experience with demonic possessions and things like that, and he ended up casting a spell. He says the words to this spell. You see the demons come out the ground. So by the time the blonde guy's girlfriend goes outside because she thinks she's being watched, she walks into the woods by herself, dumbass. And that's me. I was like, okay, she's dead. She goes out there, and it's so much fog everywhere. The trees are blowing and moving, and you see what they end up doing. But I loved it. I loved it. First person shots. Something I really, really liked, and something that I think was ahead of its time. It had a lot of first person moments. Like there's a scene where like it's supposed to be through the eyes of like the demon, and it's before he gets to the girl outside, and it's moving through the woods and knocking over trees and stuff like that. I was like, dude, that's such a cool touch, man. That's something that you just don't see all that often. And I really, really liked it. But then you see the scene. It's pretty much the tree rapes the chick. I thought that was so strange. I didn't know what the hell was going on at first. I thought maybe like the way it was going, like it had spread her legs and all that stuff. And I was like, really? And they ended up doing it. And I was like, wow. And I was watching it with the wife, and the wife was like, is a tree raping her? I'm like, appears to be. And I tell you right now, I don't have I don't have a hoo-ha, but that looked like it hurt. But and I don't mean to make joke about that. Obviously it was a rape scene, but it was just strange how it happened. And she runs back to the house. At this point, she's possessed, and that's where all hell breaks loose. It's kind of like a virus. Like she got infected with. Well, she had the demon in her. She was possessed at that point, and it just kept passing around to each person in the house. They ended up locking her possessed ass down in the basement. And can we talk about? I forgot to mention. Well, I didn't forget, but I was taking a while to get to this part. I have to say, man, can we just appreciate Bruce Campbell, Ash Williams, right? You gotta appreciate that character and that actor, that awesome dude, man. He's such an awesome guy. Even now, he goes to conventions. He's fucking wild, and I freaking love it. In this film, he's so gosh dang memorable for being an idiot, but memorable. I was telling my wife, because my wife don't know jack shit about this franchise. At least I know a little bit. And I told her that Ash Williams is the main character for the first film, the second, and Army of Darkness. And then he kind of just shows up here and there for the two movies that follow afterwards. And then he's got a show, Ash versus Evil Dead. And I said, look, he's kind of like the main character. She's like, how? He's stupid. And it really is. Like, for a lot of things he does in this film, a lot of it's for, like, comedic relief. Because even though there's a lot of intense moments, you can tell Sam Raimi really tries to make you laugh a little bit, even within the horror. So you're seeing people get gutted. You're seeing people get clawed up and, and decompose corpses. Like, and by the way, right, at the end, okay, and I'm spoiling the shit out this movie. I'm hoping you've already seen it. If you haven't watched it, go watch it and come back to the video, okay? How about do that? And leave a like and sub to the channel. At the end, right, when Ash is able to, I think he stab the book, I believe? Or no, he throws it into the fire. That's what he does. When he throws the book into the fire to break the pretty much the bond that the demons have on Earth, you start seeing the body start decompose. And I thought that was really, really awesome. It was stop motion. And I just thought that was really, really neat. Honestly, that must have been most of their budget was the end. Because when you're seeing these bodies decompose, it was really, really cool. And it took me back to like when I was a child. Like I saw a lot of stop motion shit when I was younger. And so I really, really liked it. And it was a really nice touch. And, again, Bruce Campbell, Ash Williams, he was the star of the show. Even though he didn't have like a whole lot to like speaking lines, but when he did, and the things he was doing, the decisions he was making, you start seeing those little bright spots of badassery that he has later on, which I can't wait to see. I've just seen scenes and things like that. But but super memorable, man. I'd like the you know when the young adults, I guess. I mean, I don't think they're teenagers, but who knows, right? I mean, they what movie was it? Was it Grease, where you had all these 40-year-olds playing high schoolers? That shit was hilarious. Uh, so I don't know how old these people, but when they were each getting taken over and being possessed by these demons, I thought it was really, really effective. Like the voice, the way they look with their eyes, and some of the makeup looked a little splotchy. You could definitely tell they were just wearing a mask. But yeah, man, I dug it. I had it had like a flair to it that I just can't put my finger on, but it just felt like it felt kind of weirdly wholesome, I guess you could say. What is a sick parvis magna, right? Greatness from small beginnings. This movie, and I see like the tropes that it formed in this film. You see it in other material, in other films and TV shows, and for what this movie tried to do, I think it was really satisfying. And as laughable as some of the things were, some of the actions by Ash himself and and all that stuff. I really enjoyed it. It's a film that it's really stood the test of time in a sense that it kind of it generated it made in more movies try to be like Evil Dead, and as like a horror film, I thought it did a great job. Yes, it has a slapstick humor, but not a lot of it. This is definitely a horror film through and through with light moments. But yeah, dude, great movie, great movie. If I had to give it a rating, I give it an 8.5 out of 10, maybe a 9. I don't even know what I'd take the point off for to not make it a 10. I think more of it's just I didn't like love it. I wasn't like over the top, but I really enjoyed this film and everything it had to offer. I thought the demon stuff was really interesting. Like with the doctor, he's speaking all creepy on the recorder. I love the book, the way the book looked with the human skin all over. I thought that was great. The sequence in the basement where it's like purely dark down there, and Ash is looking for his buddy who went down there to investigate a weird noise for some reason. That was cool. Yeah, I don't really have too many bad things to say, man. I really liked it. I liked how the demons were trying to keep them enclosed at the cabin and the surrounding area. I think the whole bridge that leads to that section of the mountain was they tore that down, so they were kind of stuck there and isolated. And yeah, dude, it's a lot to like here. And if you haven't seen it, go see it. I'm sorry if I spoiled some of it. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Evil Dead. All in all, that's really all I got to say about it. It's a good movie. It's a really good movie, and it really shows you just how far along horror has come, and how this movie had inspired a lot of films that came after, especially in this subgenre of horror, like with supernatural stuff. Because a lot of stuff I saw in this film, I see it in paranormal films nowadays. Like, and I've seen a few. I stay away from them for the most part, but some that I have seen, you see that inspiration. So, Evil Dead's a good movie, man. Watch it. So anyway, those are my thoughts on it. What do you guys think about the original Evil Dead? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. And we plan to do an Evil Dead 2 video sometime in the near future, hopefully within the next couple days, but it just depends. But definitely stick around, hit the follow button. That way you're alerted when we do post again. If that being said, stay dead, my friends. We'll holla.